President Trump taking on the governor of Georgia this week after plans were announced to start reopening businesses, including gyms, hair salons, and tattoo parlors there. Joining me now to discuss that and more, Republican Congressman from Georgia, Doug Collins. All right, Congressman, thanks so much for being here. A lot of these businesses I mentioned and more, including bowling alleys where everyone wears the same shoes, are starting to open up in your state. Should they?
I don't think that that's what should have been happening. I think that's what the governors, everybody's wanting this to be open. The president even says it. The governor says, let's open things back up. But the president just said it. You just heard him. This was not inside the phase one guidelines. These are not things that most people would deem essential. But the biggest problem we've had here is leadership is more than just saying we're going to open something up and getting it started. It's about communicating so that the people of Georgia and the business know what to expect. They can prepare for it. They can have the proper equipment. They can have the proper protection. If they're going to be in these hair salons or others, if they're going to be in close contact, do they have the equipment to do so if they wanted to open up? And even if not, what does it mean for folks to come back in? If you do it too quickly, you can open up all the businesses in the world. We're opening up restaurants again on Monday. So it's not a matter of opening up the business. We got to make sure that people feel comfortable going back to those businesses. And as the president said, this was not part of phase one.
Right. It's not part of phase one. I mean, they actually had to show a reduction to get into some of these, like the nails, a tattoo parlor, you know, the gyms. I mean, you know, think about bowling alley where you wear other people's shoes. I mean, it's just it's stunning. Plus, the risk of something happening where the numbers go up would be devastating for your state.
Well, it could be, and I think that's the interesting thing. There was not another thing that was very concerning about this that many of us, and I've been dealing with the last few days with people asking, is there was no cutout of local input. Local input in areas where you may have more of an increase. In my area up where I live, we're seeing an increase in number of positive cases. We're still, the host hospitals and others are able to manage it, but we are seeing an increase, and we're not sure what would happen if more infections were to come. And you're seeing that across the state. A blanket assessment sometimes is not the best. You need input from all your locals and also from your health officials to do that. But you do not also want to start it too quickly. That could have a devastating effect on people coming back. Because if you had to stop it again, that's just going to set us back even further.
And, you know, there's a psychological piece to it, too, Congressman. I mean, you know, you're there in Georgia. You're talking to people. Are some people actually afraid? I mean, they've been sheltered in place for so long. They're kind of like, oh, I don't know. I mean, there's got to be that component.
Well, there is that component, and again, the media, especially the liberal media, would love to have everything as just the doom and gloom. The president's done a great job of actually setting a standard for many months now, and then opening it up in phases, and giving more input than we've seen any president ever give. The problem is that they hear all the things, and they've just gotten scared. We need to be able to open this back up. We need to get people back to work. People need these paychecks. They need to get back into our economy and get it back going, but we need to do it in the right way. That's why a proper approach is the best way to have it, but having input into it and so that people feel comfortable is something that we cannot afford to lose.